Good morning, Miss Benrath's class. Today we are going to start weaving using your paper looms that we finished painting and cut last time. So your paper loom looks like this. We are going to be weaving in black strips of paper and white strips of paper. At your table, you're going to have a stand that looks like this on one side and this on the other. I realize that these colors on here are blue and orange, and ours are going to be black and white, but hopefully having the two colors will help you to be able to weave in your pattern, okay? This one right here is our traditional over, under, and we alternate every pattern. This is one that we're really not going to be using. So this may look different on yours. I may put an X on that. However, the other ones you'll notice are all just a little bit different. This is the same one. It's the same paper on each side. So you're going to choose one of these for your pattern, okay? So you'll notice some of these go over 3, under 1, and then they do the opposite for the second color, okay? This one's very similar. So this one goes the 3, but then the next group of 3 is our singles. And then this one kind of changes where your singles go. And then this one does a double. So they all have some differences. You're going to choose one of those, and that's what you're going to try to recreate on your paper. I'm going to do this one down here because this one's one that can be one of the most complicated. So I'm going to be showing you how to do this one here at the bottom using our black and white strips, okay? So let's see if I can get this. Okay, so there's my pattern. I may end up covering it up, whatnot. First thing I need to decide after I go and choose a handful of white strips and black strips is I need to decide which one I'm assigning to the orange and which one I'm assigning to the blue. Makes the most sense to me to assign white to the orange because orange is lighter than blue, and then I will assign black to the blue colors, okay? So right now you're going to, your teacher's going to pause the video and we're gonna get our looms passed out and we're going to get our black and white strips to us. And then you're gonna choose which complex pattern you're going to pick from. Okay, now that we've chosen our pattern and we've got our strips, I'm gonna go ahead and start. So I'm starting with a white because the orange is first for me. Okay, so this one looks like my orange goes underneath 2, over 2, under 2, over 2. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna go under my first 2 strips here. Then I'm gonna go over my next 2, and then under these 2, and then I'm gonna go over 1. I'm gonna have some overlap here, and that's okay, but I'm gonna try to pull it so that my overlap is even on each side, so they're less likely to fall out. I'm gonna make sure that it's pushed all the way up to the top, and then I'm ready for my next one. My next one's going to be a black piece of paper, and I'm gonna do this blue pattern. So this time I go under 1, over 2, under 2, over 2, under 1. Okay, so I'm gonna go under 1, over 2, under 2, and then I will go over 2, okay? So now that I've done this, I'm kind of noticing I have this section, and mine are kind of doing the same thing. So I'm on the right track. So now I'm ready to switch back to orange, and this one's gonna go over 2, under 2, over 2, under 2, okay? So I'm gonna go over 2, under 2, over 2, and this time I only go under 1, okay? So mine is starting to do what this is showing up here, okay? So I'm gonna keep trying to follow my black and white strips with my blue and orange, and I'm gonna keep going. Okay, now I am down to my last strip because I really can't fit anything else into it. I will say this, one thing I noticed is that these first 4 strips on mine, 1, 2, 3, 4, were kind of the same, because once I went down to the next one, look, it repeats itself. So for me, I realized every 4 strips was the same, and I just kind of repeated that pattern. I know it doesn't look like that, but if I take away half of this, you can kind of see like, oh, there's a lot of repeating there. So that kind of helped me out as I was going through. Another thing that I did to make sure that I can fit in as many as I can, this is called beading in. It makes more sense when you see like the big looms that take up a lot more space inside of a room. There's a step on the looms where you actually kind of slam all the strings together. Ours are with paper strips, so it's a little bit hard, but I kind of just slide everything in so it's nice and tight, and I've got just enough room here to fit in one last strip. So that's what I'm gonna do. Kind of gets a little tricky. If it gets to where it's a little tight on you, or maybe you're noticing like, hey, this one's not going in because like my cut doesn't go as far, feel free to take a pair of scissors and just kind of tuck it into that little space and cut that just a little bit more. If you need to do that, you can. But I fit in my last strip, okay? When I'm all done, I'm gonna make sure that they're sticking out on this side and this side. I want both of them. Then I'm gonna turn my paper over, and I'm going to get a solid white piece of paper. And on this solid white piece of paper, I'm going to write my name and class code. Okay, I'm gonna grab some glue. And on the back of my weaving here, I'm going to put some glue on my 4 corners. And then I'm also going to put some glue down some of the stripes here of my weaving. It does not have to be on all of them. I just did 2, that's plenty. Okay, so I've got the 2 kind of stripes down the center and my 4 corners. What I need to make sure is that every strip has glue on it at some point. Like I've got it here, but not there, here, but not there. So that's why I kind of tried to do that. The reason is this glue is gonna help lock this white piece of paper in place so that our pieces of string are not, or pieces of paper are not gonna move. So then I'm gonna lay this right on top, which mine's a little bit too big, so I will need to cut that really big, or really quickly. I will make sure that yours are down to the right size. Remember how we cut off that extra strip of paper from your loom originally? Yeah, that's because I forgot to cut mine there. So, okay. I have it now. I'm gonna glue that down onto my paper. Okay, this is gonna lock all of my strips in place. Okay, so that way nothing is gonna be able to pull out. Once I have that done, I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm going to carefully cut down the side of my loom, cutting off my extra pieces. And there you have it. I know I still have pieces sticking up here, but because they're glued down, they're not going to be able to pull out, and that's what we want. So there is our finished product.